Blog Talk Radio.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, across this great country. Coronavirus is back up in the news, second wave of it, but nobody has a thing on this American Sports History podcast hosted by my good friend Peter Ray, live from Cleveland, Ohio. A little rock and roll. Yours truly, Mark Mancini here, 347-205-9631. Without further ado, let me give him the podium, the mic, and the red carpet. Peter, first of all, how are you? Second of all, how can people get a hold of you? Third of all, you got a real special guest tonight.
Oh, hi, Mark. I'm fine. I have a YouTube channel. It's my name, Peter J. Ray. I make history videos, including 100 every year Cleveland baseball history going back to 1869. I have a website. It's Adventures in History with Peter J. Ray. Today we have tonight we have a wonderful, tremendous guest. His name is Bryce Weiler. Bryce was born blind, and he's had a tremendous accomplishment because he created this organization, the Beautiful Lives Project, which helps folks with disabilities to live their dreams in various realms: sports, art, cheer, dance, ballet, nature, and music. And so, welcome to the show, Bryce. It's wonderful to have you on.
Peter, thank you so much for having me on here this evening.
Yeah, we've been talking on the phone, having some really good talks. So, the thing I wanted to go back to when you were in college, you had this experience which changed your life. You had a friend of a friend. You wound up on the bench of the college basketball team where you went to college, and it changed your life. And then, you want to talk about that experience and what happened?
The junior college head women's basketball coach in my town of Olney, Illinois, Coach Clint Burris, who coaches the Olney Central College Lady Blue Knights women's basketball team, played for the former University of Evansville Aces head men's basketball coach Marty Simmons when Coach Simmons was the head coach at Southern Illinois University Edwardsville when the Cougars were Division II. Now they are a member of the Ohio Valley Conference and in Division I. But Clint played for Coach Simmons, and I was attending some summer classes at the University of Evansville in the summer of 2009. And Clint introduced me to Coach Simmons. I went over to their basketball office during the 5-week summer session. I was there taking summer classes. I learned how to shoot free throws. And Coach Simmons told me if I came to Evansville to be a student that he would give me the opportunity to sit on his Aces men's basketball bench and be able to experience sports and experience college basketball. That was something that I'd always dreamed of being able to do, so I took him up on that opportunity and went to school at Evansville to do that and also study sports management and sports broadcasting. Sitting on the bench really changed my life because it gave me the opportunity to be around players and coaches and sports and be around college basketball, all things that I never dreamed of being able to do since I cannot see.
Did you become friends with all the guys on the team?
I did become friends with basically all the players, all the coaches, all the student managers. I became friends with a lot of the opposing coaches who would come in to play during the conference and the non-conference season. So it was really just one great, enjoyable time of chatting with a whole bunch of people from both teams every single home game.
So you played. You were with the players before games, after games, during the games, and you were part of the team. Yes,
I really was. I was in the locker room before games. I would go in for halftime speeches or post-game speeches. I would go observe practices. I got to commentate some of their games on the radio as a blind radio broadcaster. We talk a lot about history, Peter, or that's something you talk about on this podcast a lot. And the history of coaches giving people with disabilities the opportunity to live their dreams through sports is a little lacking. I think that for any sports program in the country, high school, college, in all types of sports, men's and women's sports, so women's basketball, men's basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, football, there's probably someone, maybe a few people of any disability who would love to have the opportunity to live that same dream that I got to live for 4 years at Evansville from 2010 through 2014. The coaches just have to want to give them that type of an opportunity.
Now, can you tell us about the Beautiful Lives Project?
The Beautiful Lives Project works to enhance the lives of people of all disabilities to live their dreams in programs with sports, art, cheerleading, dance, ballet, nature, and a whole plethora of other programs across the country. Our website, if people would like to look that up, is www.beautifullives.org. Now, Peter, we are lacking a Cleveland chapter president and a chapter president for the entire state of Ohio. So maybe yourself, some of your friends, family, or listeners to your outstanding podcast may want to be a chapter president, and we can teach these individuals how to do fundraising, how to find hosts to host events in our 5 categories, how to find individuals to participate in these events, how to get people to invest in smiles, and anyone can contact me at Bryce@beautifullives.org, BRYCE at beautifullives.org if they would like to learn more.
Is that a paid position?
So the chapter presidents are voluntary roles for now, and they may be funded in the future.
Right. Well, I have to give you all the credit in the world because, you've had a hard thing to deal with in life, not being able to see, and you've turned it into such a positive thing because, somebody did something for you that they didn't have to. Something, that's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. The world we can't imagine how beautiful this world could be if that was the attitude from more people. So I just think we've talked about this before. We talked on the phone about it and trying to understand why it hasn't been happening more often. And I think it's courage is such an important quality. And people with disabilities, it's scary. The thought everyone can imagine, or the thought can go through your mind of, wow, I could be blind, or I could be deaf, or I could be in a wheelchair, I could have a very tough disability. So then, very often in life we hide. We need courage. We need to face things. And I'm sure, your coach, when you were on that team, he did something, and I'm sure he had tremendous satisfaction from that, and all the guys, because, for one, they faced something. They faced a blind guy and became friends with a blind guy, and then, and they did something, not, playing sports, fine. You're playing a game. It's entertainment. But, what they did for you was so much greater than that. So I think, as time passes, we need to be patient, and I'm sure, and I know you're dedicated to your work. So I commend you for your efforts, and I believe that we all have these hidden virtues in us, and I'm sure your efforts will lead to more and more of what you experience and what you're doing. And you've already had tremendous success. Tell us more about. So last year you had 3,000 people with disabilities who were helped. Is that right?
We did have over 3,000 people of all disabilities who we helped live their dreams last year. This year we are currently up over 1,300, and we haven't had very many events during the past 3 or 4 months because of the virus going around in this country. So we still hope to make it over the 3,000 mark this year and do better than we did last year. But if we can't get to 3,000, we're going to help as many people as we can and see what 2021 has in store, because we're always going to be here. We're always going to be bringing in new chapters, helping new chapter presidents, and helping more people of all disabilities across this country and the world as a whole be able to live their dreams.
Yeah, it's just such a beautiful thing because, we make a big deal out of sports. I'm a sports fan, longtime sports fan, and I respect athletes tremendously. But, ultimately, athletes, they're athletes. I don't want to put down athletes or anything. What I'm trying to say is this is so much greater. We when we look at life and we look at achievement, we think we have to change our ideas about what greatness is. We think, it's being rich and famous for most people. But it really isn't. It's being a great person. It's being a really good person and making a difference in the lives of others. And I think that's what greatness. So under the definition I believe in of being a great man, you're a great man, and you're greater than these professional athletes who are worshipped as gods.
Sometimes athletes can become upset when their coach does not play them as much as the athletes think that he or she should be playing them, and think that the athlete should have a certain amount of playing time on the court or the field. But when they're around someone who's blind or in a wheelchair or deaf or having autism, who's just happy to be on the bench, to be able to shoot free throws before the game, to be able to be around the team, the athletes and coaches realize that there's bigger things in sports and in life, and it really gives them a better understanding of how they should prioritize their life.
Well, that's exactly true. And the thing is, for every athlete, it comes to an end, and then what do you do next? And I know that's very, very tough for them. And then, a lot of them, they have and hopefully they can go on and live meaningful lives. Hopefully we can all live meaningful lives. So, yeah, and you can really give them a perspective. I think that what you're doing can really give them and really help them, especially when they feel upset about whatever they're going, the struggles they're having in sports. And to be grateful, we should be grateful for what we have. And then not just avoid people. So often we avoid people. People avoid nursing homes. They avoid people who are in with disabilities. And we need to face life, because these are human beings and they're God's children. So this is a tremendously beautiful work that you're doing, and God bless you. What else would you like to talk about tonight, Bryce?
I really just enjoyed, sharing with you how everyone has to overcome obstacles and challenges in their life. People did not think I could do things because I was blind, such as commentating games on the radio, which I've done over 150 games on the radio as a blind radio broadcaster, analyzing what's happening on the court or the field. And there were times at some points where people did not want to let me commentate with them because they did not think that I could do it because I cannot see. But I surrounded myself by people such as Tom Benson, who taught me how to commentate games when I was in college at Evansville. And it's important to surround yourself with people who want to help you to accomplish your dreams and believe in your goals, because if you surround yourself with doubters or people who don't think that you can achieve your dreams or your goals, then you're never going to be successful in life.
Yeah, you were telling me on the telephone about your work as a baseball announcer, and how you can't watch the game, but you research the players, the batters, and whoever is hitting or a new pitch or whatever, and you can look. You find good stories about their background, and see, that to me would be very extremely, as a fan, more entertaining than just the fly ball, foul ball stuff like ball strike and so forth. So I think your efforts as a broadcaster, I'm sure, will improve the quality of sports broadcasting.
I find it is very important to research the lives of the players and coaches, no matter what sport I'm commentating, whether it's college baseball, college basketball, college softball, college soccer, minor league baseball, whatever the case might be, especially in women's sports, because in women's sports, the athletes and the coaches are not covered as much because sports fans tend to solely just want to watch men's sports. So I try to really dig into the lives of the women's athletes and women's sports coaches and share those stories of the players and really show them as people who have their own everyday struggles and accomplishments and goals and dreams. And I like to give the fans listening a sense of the people playing on the court or the field in the games.
We have a caller, David Letterman from Evansville. David, you're on the show. Oh. Are you there, David? Oh, maybe I misunderstood. Well, anyway. If you're there, David, let us know, or Mark, maybe you can let me know. So, okay, let's see, what else would you like to talk about, Bryce?
I've really been working hard to work with companies to help people of all disabilities to be able to have high-quality, meaningful employment, because so often you may see someone at a checkout counter of your grocery store who may be in a wheelchair, or someone who has autism and things like that. But I guarantee you that those people, whether it's at a sports venue or working for a company, they can probably do a higher level role for that sports team or that company, but they have to be given that opportunity. So I know many of your listeners are business owners, whether that be in the sports realm or in the private or the public sector for companies. So just give people of all disabilities the opportunity to explore and to see how high they can make it in your company, because everybody deserves a great place in society and in the world. For example, Peter, you've used your life studying history to take you to foreign countries and be able to teach students in foreign countries and have so many great experiences learning foreign languages and learning about sports in foreign cultures, and that's something that's really benefited you throughout your life.
Yeah, the thing is, the big issue, there's been a lot of discussion of racism nowadays, and if you look I don't believe racism is a big issue today. But anyway, in the past it definitely was, and racism was and the tragedy of racism is you had a lot of black people in the past who were talented, who were unable to contribute their talents because of racism. They said, "Oh, you're black," and they were limited to these certain roles, a lot of menial labor. And I'm sure there are a lot of very, very talented people with disabilities who would contribute. And who could contribute to in the workforce in various companies if these companies would give them a chance and could overcome their own fear of facing the real reality of life, that there are people with disabilities, and so these people could be hired and they could do a lot of good, they could really help the company. So I think that's wonderful. Again, I commend you for what you're doing.
Everyone really deserves their opportunity to live their dreams in life. I've been able to do that with being able to sit on the Evansville basketball bench and being able to commentate so many games throughout my life. I'm really thankful for the owner of the New Britain Bees, Anthony Icavone, who gave me the opportunity to be the co-founder of the Beautiful Lives Project along with him. And I've also been out commentating games for his New Britain Bees baseball team the past 3 summers, which was really enjoyable because I hadn't been able to commentate as many games for the previous 2 or 3 years before 2017.
No, apparently the confusion. David Letterman is from Evansville. Are you from Evansville, Indiana?
I'm from near Evansville, yes, and that is where I went to college.
Okay. And you live in Claremont, Illinois. And as
That's
a fan,
correct, which is 90 minutes from Evansville.
You supported the St. Louis Cardinals, Indianapolis Colts, and Indiana Pacers. Now, would you like to talk about your friendship with the owner of the New Britain Bees, Anthony Icavone?
Well, Anthony was the individual who gave me that opportunity to be the co-founder of the Beautiful Lives Project, and he really gave me the opportunity to live my dreams of helping people of all disabilities to be able to live their dreams in programs in sports, art, cheerleading, dance, music, ballet, nature, all of the categories that we now have as a part of our nonprofit. He was willing to let me live my dreams and give the nonprofit he started to me to help me live my dreams and to give back to all of the people who'd helped me be successful throughout my life and to help people of all disabilities to be able to live their dreams. And that's something anybody can do. It may not have to be on such a grand scale of setting up a nonprofit or a foundation for someone who's blind or whatever the case might be to take over, but maybe taking someone who's blind or deaf or in a wheelchair having autism out to a movie or taking them to a local sports game, a high school game, a junior college game, various things such as that. Anybody can help anyone else live their dreams. They just have to want to try to do those things.
Yeah, I was the church I go to they had these free dinners for poor people who could use a free meal, and I went and volunteered. And the thing I noticed about the meal is that the volunteers all ate in the kitchen. I mean, I don't want to criticize them. It was good what they did, but they all stayed in the kitchen, and these poor people were out eating at tables. And I thought to myself, they needed that dinner, but probably more that they needed was someone to become friends with them and encourage them. And I could see that the volunteers were afraid of them. And so it didn't happen. They were coming for their meals, but so in life, I imagine if you're disabled, there's a tendency for depression. People are, they ended up, they're at home and they have their disability, and then they're not doing much, and so they really need people to become friends with them, so that they can feel like, wow, I can, because many of them I imagine are depressed. And so, because depression affects the general population anyway, so how much more with a disabled person? So what they need is someone, that's what I like to say is, everyone wants to be a winner, but if you really want to be a winner, help a loser become a winner. Now, when I use the word loser, I'm not talking about, I don't mean it in a mean way. I'm just talking about a person struggling in life. Because if you can take someone who's struggling and help them succeed, to me, that's the biggest victory you can achieve, much bigger than your own wealth and fame that everyone is desperately striving for. So again, this is just wonderful that you're on the show, because we're talking about something now that's really important, And to be honest, as a sports fan, but to me, I don't think it's that important. And we've over glorified it. We've packed these stadiums full of people watching games, not right now, and then we neglect the people in our country, like the elderly or like people with disabilities or people with mental illness. We neglect them, and it's wrong. It has to change. So I mean, you're a part of a beautiful future.
So many people of all disabilities live in group homes, and they're in these homes on a weekly basis, 7 days out of the week. So coming to the events we set up all across the country really gives them a break from their daily life and a chance to experience doing things and really creating lifelong friendships and bonds. That is one of the best parts of a Beautiful Lives Project events, is that the hosts and the companies who are sponsoring the events and the volunteers and the individuals participating all become friends, and they end up doing things together long after that event has happened and things like that, because everybody needs friends and everybody needs someone to talk to throughout their life. And it can be really lonely for people of all disabilities to be stuck in group homes or to be stuck at home every day. That's why for so many people of various disabilities, the virus and the things that have been happening surrounding that in our country haven't really affected their lives as much, because they are home every day. I know I'm typically at home every day for the past 4 years when I'm not traveling to do an event or going to Baltimore to do some consulting work for sports teams out there. So being at home the past few months hasn't really affected my life, but it's been interesting seeing how it's really changed other people's lives and how they've really had to struggle through that, not being able to get up and go out to work or go to the gym or go to their favorite restaurants.
You know, I have a friend, my best friend since 1986 for the last 34 years, and we both have suffered from depression on and off. And I've had depression on and off since I was 13, so going back 47 years. And this guy's had really much worse. At any rate, we've had a genuine friendship. And I've known, and you know a lot of people in life, but what's important is real friendship, where there's goodwill, where you both wish each other well. And so I feel like with my friend and I, my best friend, there's this goodwill. We've both helped each other so much. We've both had depression, and so that's why, you know, if we can really establish real friendships, not just you want to have good times together, and when the other person is his life falls apart, you're gone. When I was growing up, my sister died when I was a kid, and my parents had a lot of friends, but there was only like one friend who really helped. Everyone else kind of avoided my parents because they're just kind of freaked out by it, because they're like, what do you say to somebody whose daughter died? Well, if you're a real friend, you take time, and you spend time, and you listen, and you let them talk, and really let them show you care. And we need to care in life, and so many people, they don't care, and that's the tragedy of life. So again, I keep repeating myself, but it's true. God bless you. And is there anything else you'd like to talk about, Bryce?
Well, is there anything else you think you might want to ask me about, or whatever you may have heard that you may want to know more about that I've spoken about so far in this conversation, Pete? That'd be something I'd be interested in speaking about. If there's any questions you want to ask me about things people may not know about someone who's blind, or how to properly assist someone who's blind.
That's a good one. How can you assist someone who is blind?
Well, typically, if someone is totally blind, they will either have a cane or a guide dog with them. If they have a guide dog, you probably should not help them, because the guide dog is acting as their eyes, and he or she, being the guide dog, is looking for if they're going to walk into a post or a lightning pole or things like that. And if there's someone who's using a cane, if they look lost, you should ask them if they need help, and if they turn you down and they're kind of mean about it, you should continue to ask the next person, because he or she might really need your help. One time I was lost on the sidewalk when I was in graduate school, and I asked all these students if they'd be willing to help me get to the building I was trying to get to that my classes were in. It was about a 5 to 6 minute walk from where I was currently lost at on the sidewalk. And about 15 to 20 students who I asked walked by me and just ignored me and did not say anything. And it was about 0 degrees outside that day, and my hands were really frozen, and I was scared I was going to get frostbite. Finally, someone stopped and helped me. So that really showed me that you never really know what you're going to get with people, so don't take the ones for granted who want to help you and who want to help you be successful and help you to reach your dreams.
Yeah, I think that's exactly why this coronavirus is happening right now, because it's been so destructive to people's lives. It's been so painful. But the thing is, we do so much in life. Look at all Americans are an amazing people, and they are good people, and they do so many things. But so often people are doing so many things, but we're missing the most important thing, and it's very simple. It's to care about people. And to care, and especially to care about people who are. But we don't value that as a culture, and we need to. When you have parents, when they have kids, they dream of they want their kids to get high grades. They want their kids to make good money when they're older, and a lot of fathers, want their sons to be athletes. But how many parents, really want their kids to be good people? And this is what we need to do. So so if care, that thing you just said, that's just a common thing. And if you look at the world today, the suffering in the world, we have to care. We can't just think, I want to be rich and I don't care about anybody else, because that's why the world is like a hellhole. 20,000 people starve to death in third world countries every day. So it's it's shameful. So we were created by God, which means we have greatness in us. Well, let's start behaving. And I think people are hard-headed. They ignore God. They no, they just go through life thinking about what they want, and that's it. That's no good. And again, you're an inspiration. Do you? You really are. I'm not just putting you on. I really, because that's what I believe in. I was in the Philippines for 20 years. I was dealing with severe poverty over there. And sometimes it's overwhelming and heartbreaking, but we got to face it. So anyway, let's see. We've got 3 minutes left. Do you have a final any final words for our listeners? Bryce Weiler.
Always try to help people to live their dreams. Never allow obstacles and challenges to stand in your way, because if you allow obstacles, challenges, and the doubters to stand in your way, then they're going to have victory, and they're going to hold you back from living your dreams and making your life be the best that it can be. Hopefully some of your listeners will want to contact me to become a chapter president, to sponsor an event, to host an event with my nonprofit, or to participate in an event if they themselves are blind, deaf, having autism, any disability, or if they know of anyone, feel free to have them look at our website, which is www.beautifullives.org. They can also email me to discuss anything we've talked about on this podcast this evening with the nonprofit, or about my life as well. And my email is bryce@beautifullives.org, BRYCE@beautifullives.org. I wanted to thank you so much, Peter, for this opportunity to come on. And boy, Mr. Mark Mancini sure does have a very great network of strong individual speakers and podcast hosts going. And I know that after being on 2 of these shows now.
Mark Mancini is a tremendous human being. He's Prime Time with the Stables is the name of the network, and this has been an incredible experience for me. All the people I've gotten to talk to on these podcasts, including you, and I can't say enough good things about Mark Mancini and everything that he's doing. It's just beautiful. It's just a beautiful thing. He's such a good fella, and Now next week we have Patty Blyleven, who was the former wife of Bert Blyleven, and of course Bert Blyleven was a tremendous major league pitcher for back in the I think in the 70s. He was with the Minnesota Twins. He pitched for Cleveland for a while. He won a championship with Pittsburgh, I believe, in '79, and I think he's a Hall of Famer and pitcher, 300-game winner, I think, something like that. So, anyway, thanks so much. Thanks again, Bryce, for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Peter. That was fantastic, and I know we'll visit again soon and be lifelong friends for life.
Absolutely. I love talking with on the telephone. Anytime you got my number, call me anytime. I love talking with you. So, dear listener, we are out of time. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.